Greetings to the Edwards family from the Babylon Seventh-day Adventist Church. Since we could not be with you physically, we did want to be with you in spirit and to share our remembrances and our thoughts and our feelings about our beloved brother, Barry Edwards. He's father, teacher, husband, mentor, elder to so many of us, and we wanted to, again, express our sorrow and our sincere condolences at the loss of our brother, Barry Edwards. First, though, I did want to talk a little bit about the fondest memories I have of Barry. I wanted to bring up, of course, the affection between he and his spouse, Carlene. Being from the Caribbean, you don't get to just use one endearment, you use two. So he would call her dear heart, or honey baby, or honey darling, or all the different words you would hear him say as he would speak so much about his wife, with whom he was so proud, and certainly they shared a love that can't be matched or paralleled. Also, to the love that he showed his children, he would talk to me about principles and how he wanted to teach his children principles to understand the spirit of the law rather than just knowing the letter of the law. Barry was a wonderful teacher, and he had an old station wagon, and he taught my friend Stephen Rivers to drive in this old station wagon, which really no one probably should have been driving at that point. But Stephen Rivers is actually one of the best drivers I still know. And Barry had such talent in that he put something together. He'd glance at the instructions, and at the end, you'd be left with a nut, an Allen key, 10 bolts, and a screw. And you never knew really why the thing would hold together, but it still would manage to do so. He knew his children so well. You would come to his house, and when they were little, something would be, well, let's just say, broken. And he'd say, that is the work of Toffer, or that is the work of JB. So the poor children didn't even have to confess. He knew them so well that he'd be able to catch them at their good moments and also at their bad moments. Barry had a way of seeing things from a unique perspective. I remember when my daughter Jax had colic, and after 16 weeks of her screeching, not crying, Barry would hold the baby and he'd say, look, Celeste, she's going to be a musician. There's a key change. So as Jax would get louder, he would just talk about how she's going to be a musician, really, when she cries like that. And so there's so much to say about how much he touched us. We owe, I guess, our church school certainly to him and his wife and their efforts. We owe, I guess, so much friendship, fun, good times. I would suggest to anyone who is feeling musically challenged to just stand in front of the Edwards family as they sing and just lip sync, because you'll just feel like you sound like an angel, because that's the talent that he's passed on to his children. And so, beginning with all of that, we're sending you our love, our prayers, again, our heartfelt condolences about a person that is so near and dear to our hearts, and there's so many more words we could say to describe him, and so I'm going to let other people take that opportunity to send them your love.
Hello to everyone watching. To those who don't know, the Edwards grew up calling me Harry, and they call me Harry, and only family calls me that. My cousins, my uncle, my parents, and Barry and Carlene. My first memory of them actually is Carlene walking by with Melissa in Swaddling. She was that tiny when they first came here, and I had actually not been in church while I was away at school. And when they came back, I remember one of the first things I said to Carlene, not really knowing her, was, your family's beautiful. And she was just so grateful for that. But to Barry, the Edwards became, I guess, an integral part of our family. They were at our house almost every Saturday night. And then they became very active in the church. And Carlene was Sabbath school superintendent here. She was clerk here. Barry Edwards led our choir many times. He also was our pianist whenever. And they just became so much a part of this group. And then when they joined board meetings, it would be very hard for them to attend with 4 children. The oldest at the time being 5, Taffer, and the youngest at 7 months was Melissa. And I know this because that's when I started to babysit for them so that they could come and partake in the board meetings. And I would go to their house, small house over on Midwood Avenue in West Babylon. And I got there, and the first night, Barry said, well, you know, the kid's going to go down probably around 8 o'clock, and we'll be back around 9:30, 10. So if you want to watch a movie, I'm afraid you can't do that. And I couldn't do it because JB probably had jammed something into the VCR, and it was no longer working. There are many nights I went there through various pets they had, whether it was the guinea pigs, and they would always introduce me whenever I went over to their new creature of, I guess, 6 months or however long it was going to last. So it was a lot of fun taking care of them. They were such a great group of kids, and their parents taught them both to respect me, even though I was not that much older than them. But I had a wonderful time, and I'm going to share two fond memories of Barry. The first one, like I said, was the VCR, but there were other two. My parents retired a few years ago back to Barbados, and they bought us a CD, and the man's name is Joseph, I can't remember the last name. However, he takes old hymns, he takes very, very familiar hymns, and he's kind of morphed them into Caribbean speak. So there was a song, they were over at our house for lunch, and I put the song on. I said, Barry, what do you think if we do this maybe for special music? And when you hear the song, it was the Feast of Belshazzar, and it has this really funky beat. And when it came on, Barry was in the kitchen. And I felt always like Barry was so open to any kind of music you introduced him to. He was ready to partake or whatever it was. So on to the second story. Another night, Carlene and Barry had us over, and they were going on a cruise. And we said to Barry and Carlene, look, you guys are going to go to these nightclubs, and there's all sorts of entertainment on the ship, and you guys are going to want to, kind of participate. I said, well, do you guys know how to do the electric slide? And Barry said, the what? I said, the electric slide. Obviously, the kids knew what we were talking about. They found the music, and we put it on. So I said, Barry, come, let me show you. So I showed Barry how to do it. So Barry gets in, and he starts moving. A couple minutes later, he says, can we speed it up? I said, what do you mean speed it up? This is the tempo of the song. Oh, no, I'm going to double up. We all doubled over because Barry was always trying to go the extra and ratchet it up just another notch. So for that, Barry, thank you. Thank you for making us part of your life. We will miss you.
Let me go first. You see, Carlene, nothing's changed between us.
I'm the man of the house.
And I'm the boss. The Edwards family is very special to us. And I remember one of Harry's friends that he bowled with came to church. He lived around the corner, and he invited him to church. And the 4 Edwards children sang. And after the service, he came over to me. He said, those children are so talented. He says, I just loved hearing them sing. And you've raised a beautiful, beautiful family. And I remember when Melissa was very little, maybe 6, 7 months old, and she was antsy, and the boys were antsy, and you let me take care of her, and she was like my little girl at that time. So I just thank the Edwards family. And the one thing that stands out in my mind is when we had our 50th anniversary, and Melissa did the whole thing, took care of everything, and I asked if Barry would sing the Lord's Prayer. And I will always remember him singing the Lord's Prayer. And Carlene, I prayed for him that he would be healed, but the Lord needed him. And so we will see him again. And I'm so thankful that we have that truth, that hope, that we will see those that have gone before us. So until then, be of good courage, dear one, and you will see your loved one again.
I used to work with Barry at the conference office. He worked at the high school in Queens Academy. So my job at the conference was doing the mail and calling some of the parsons where they had a leak in the faucet, some little job. And they told me if I can't do it, call somebody in, a professional. So they said one day, go to Academy, the door is stuck or something. Go there, see if you can fix it. So I go there, and the door was off the hinges. I was banging it. I couldn't get it off, the hinges. And Barry was inside the school, and he came out. He said, Harry, please stop banging there. I'm trying to teach a class. I said, okay, I'm sorry, Barry. And I remember that happening. So, Carlene, we got to have more faith and hope that we will see our loved ones when Jesus comes, when the God the Father will tell God the Son to take all the angels from heaven, go to earth, and resurrect all our old people that passed away, the living, and bring them back home to heaven. So, Carlene, we will all be together one day and just have more hope and faith in Jesus, because he will save us. Amen.
Hi, Edwards family. Barry was a good man. You know, in the Bible, somebody asked Jesus if he called him good. And I can tell you that Barry was a really good man. He was a very talented guy. As a musician, I loved playing guitar with him and playing music with him. He was an incredible singer. But most of all, he really loved the Lord and sacrificed everything to be your friend and really show Jesus his love. And if I might just take just a few more seconds, in John chapter 17, Jesus said a prayer, and it says, my prayer is not, from verse 9, my prayer is not for the world, but for those you have given me, because they belong to you. And all of them, since they are mine, belong to you. And you have given them back to me, so they are my glory. Now I am departing the world. I am leaving them behind and coming to you. Holy Father, keep them and care for them, all you have given me, so that they will be united just as we are. And down to verse 17, the verse says, make them pure and holy by teaching them your word of truth. Barry was a holy man and a good man, and showed us all Jesus' love, and was a blessing to our families.
For me, Barry is a special and unique person. I don't think I've ever met anybody like him, and I don't think I ever will. He was a gentleman spiritually and also in every other way. I have so many good memories of the Edwards family and our families and other families getting together for church events and outside church. A lot of fun, a lot of laughs. One of the things I really enjoyed doing was sitting in front of Barry at church, because when it was time to sing, you just got the best voice behind you. It was inspirational. Anyway, we're definitely going to miss Barry. It's a terrible loss for all of us.
I just remember the Edwards family being so talented, and Barry especially being so talented, whether they were leading out in youth and whether he was playing guitar or piano or organ, and he used to play for the congregation, and he used to be able to play in between the song and do a key change so that we sang it even higher, and I still am in awe of the way he sang, and it was such a blessing to know him. And I look forward to the day when Jesus comes again, we get to see him again. I know he did so well in all his jobs, whether he was teaching or fixing his car, whatever he did it well. And he was here, our elder, when I was here, and he was so gracious from the pulpit when he spoke to us, and so kind and gentle. So we miss him. Thank you.
I just want to let you know, Edwards family, Barry, Kelly, about Barry. He's in my prayers. Your family is in my prayers and thoughts.
Just want to say on behalf of the Solomon family that we are grieving with you. You know, we got here in 1999, young couple, and we started our family right away. And I know especially Carlene was very helpful to us in our, young marriage and raising children. And one of the things that I was so amazed at was how talented that family as a whole was, and especially Barry. I learned that he can take a motor and disassemble it and put it all back together, and it worked perfectly. I learned that he could take brakes on a vehicle and repair the brakes and put it back together, and the brakes work perfectly. Up till this day, I still struggle with how talented he was mechanically. And then, of course, with computers, would you know that they would rebuild computers in their house? They had computers upon computers on a shelf. I know because I repaired their garage. And they were all rebuilt computers from scratch. That whole family was so talented with computer and technology. And also spiritually, Barry was a mentor to me and my family spiritually. He taught me how to look up words in the Bible dictionary, which I didn't really realize exist. And he showed me how to study and how to do different things when it comes to the spiritual aspect. And so Barry will forever be missed in our lives. We were sad to see them move, and certainly sad that he has passed, and our prayers are with the Edwards family.
Yes, I echo those sentiments, and we love you very much, praying for you, and may God bless you. I love you so much, Carlene, and I would never forget how you've always been there for me when I needed you.
Hello, Edwards family. I just want to express how grateful I was to the family when I first came here. I remember when I first came here, Barry was so gracious, he was so kind, he was so welcoming to me as a new person to this church. And I will forever be grateful to that. Also to Carlene, your words of encouragement and your wisdom. Every time I see you, there was always a word of encouragement. And for that, I treasure those words of wisdom very dearly. And to Melissa, I appreciate your friendship, or phone calls, or chats, your advice and counsel when I kind of need them. So I just want to thank you for that. And for the family, I just want to express my condolences, and I'm just praying for you. God bless.
Hello. I just wanted to express my thanksgiving for Barry. He touches people's lives in so many ways, and he never talks about it. And so I want to just share something with you. I was going through different things, and Barry and the Edwards family would speak to me, and they would tell me the different gifts and the different talents that I had. And then they would, of course, you could see their gifts and talents. And so to me, they mean so much to me. I remember when we first came into the church, and we really didn't have any friends, and they befriended us. And they even invited my daughter to sing at one of Melissa's plays that she had at Hofstra University. And I thought they didn't even really know us, but their arms were wide open to us, and they gave us opportunities that other people, just didn't have a chance to give us. And we felt so close to them and so warmed by their care and their love for us. Also, when I was pursuing, and nobody really knows this, so I guess I'm sharing it with some of the people that I'm taping with, but I was pursuing to be a chaplain for a very long time, and I needed a recommendation. And because of Barry's recommendation, I was accepted into the program, and I was able to pursue what I believe God wanted me to pursue and what they encouraged me to pursue. So Melissa and Carlene and the family, I just want to say the gifts and the talents God really gave to Barry, he used well, and I'm thankful for that. Thank you.
Well, I wanted to say that there could be so many more testimonials and sharing and laughter. And please know that when we get the opportunity, we'll see each other again, and hopefully we'll be able to reach out and touch base and talk with you and your family through this difficult time. Just one more memory of Barry as an encourager. I used to teach actually Sabbath school with him. And one Sabbath, Barry came in with his Bible just loaded. I'm not sure what got into him that Sabbath, but we laugh about it still, in that there was nothing that came up that was thorny or confusing or controversial that Barry did not have a gentle answer for. And so I think his biblical wisdom and his teaching will be with us all. And as long as there's life and breath within me and my family, we will certainly love him, remember him, and hold your family in the highest of esteems. We love you, and we hope to see you soon. And again, we have this hope that we will see each other in the great by and by, and that all of us will meet on the sea of glass and have so many memories to share of not only the earth that's past, but the earth that is yet to come. In Jesus' name I pray, and I thank you so much for everyone who participated, and I hope that this brings you some measure of joy and some comfort.